Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're all about exploring these really compelling stories and pulling out the core insights. So imagine this for a second. Get a gift, maybe something stylish like sunglasses, and suddenly just having them makes you look suspicious, like maybe even like a spy. It sounds wild, but it shows how quickly normal things can become, well, dangerous.
It really does. That everyday object becoming loaded with meaning.
Exactly. And that kind of situation is exactly what we're digging into today. We're going back to 1976 Guatemala, looking at a personal story called Dangerous Gifts, An Entanglement in Guatemala by Eugenia Gallardo.
A really fascinating account.
It is. Our goal here is to figure out how a simple gift exchange, mixed with a bit of fashion, turned into this really serious case of mistaken identity, all happening against the backdrop of Guatemala in the 70s, a super complex and politically charged time. Everything we talk about comes straight from her narrative.
Yeah, that context is just crucial.
So let's dive into this amazing story, how a fashion accessory ended up being a huge political problem, completely by accident. Okay, let's set the scene a bit. Our story starts with Eugenia Gallardo, the author, coming back to Guatemala in 76.
Right. And 1976 is significant, not just any year.
No, it was the year of that huge earthquake, a time of major chaos. Eugenia herself calls it a time when dates were upside down.
Yeah.
Everything was topsy-turvy.
Patas arriba, yeah. A very evocative phrase.
Totally. So she's just back from São Paulo, Brazil. She's finalized her divorce from her husband, who, interestingly, was also named Hugo.
Another Hugo. Okay, that detail matters later.
It does. And she's getting ready to enroll at the USAC University there in Guatemala.
And it's vital, I think, to really paint a picture of Guatemala then. Beyond the earthquake's devastation, you had this intense political tension. Various groups, state forces, revolutionary factions, all operating in this climate of, well, deep suspicion. Surveillance was a constant threat.
So not exactly a relaxed environment to return to.
Not at all. The lines between who was safe, and who wasn't were incredibly blurred. And this meant that, small things, everyday actions.
Like getting sunglasses?
Exactly. Things like that could suddenly take on enormous, even dangerous significance. Eugenia walking back into that specific environment, even if she wasn't fully aware of it, was already stepping onto shaky ground.
That political tension just ramps everything up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay, with that in mind, how does this whole thing start?
Well, as part of enrolling at university, Eugenia has to get these mandatory medical exams.
Standard procedure.
And the doctor doing the exams, also named Hugo.
Wait, another Hugo. So there's ex-husband Hugo and Dr. Hugo.
Correct. Two Hugos. And this Hugo, Dr. Hugo, asks her for a small favor. He wants her to take a gift to a friend of his back in São Paulo.
Okay.
This friend is a Brazilian woman, a polista, also named Eugenia.
No way. Another Eugenia.
Yes. And described as blonde and short, just like our narrator, Eugenia Gallardo.
Wow, okay. The coincidences are piling up already. Right. And this Brazilian Eugenia, she comes from a wealthy family. Her father owns an eyeglasses factory.
Ah, the eyeglasses connection.
Yes.
Makes sense.
So Eugenia Gallardo goes back to São Paulo, delivers the package, passes on the greetings. Mission accomplished, and as a thank you, the Brazilian Eugenia gives her a pretty generous gift. More than half a dozen pairs of sunglasses.
Not just one pair, like a bunch of them.
A whole load of them. And these aren't just, regular sunglasses. They're described as super fashionable, dark lenses, these new degrade styles.
Okay, so top of the line stuff.
Totally. And the crucial bit? They were inéditos in Guatemala. Completely unseen there. Nobody had anything like them. They were a real statement.
Ah, so instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
And unique.
Extremely. So picture this. Our Eugenia, the narrator, and Dr. Hugo, they both start wearing these incredibly distinctive sunglasses.
Right, the ones from the Brazilian Eugenia's father's factory.
Exactly. And they're not just wearing them, they're also giving away some of the men's styles to friends.
Spreading the fashion around.
Making them even more visible, more talked about. Naturally, everyone's asking, where'd you get those amazing glasses?
I can imagine. They must have stood out like crazy.
They really did. And this is where things start to get, well, entangled. So Eugenia, our narrator, she's newly divorced, feeling this newfound sentimental freedom, as she puts it.
Embracing single life.
Yeah. And she's apparently quite popular. She thinks it's a mix of her, quote, natural beauty and that sort of interesting air people get after living abroad for a while.
That traveled mystique.
Right. She says she's circulating with great peg, which is such a great phrase, meaning she's really hitting it off Lots of social success, very charming.
A real social butterfly.
Totally. But here's the kicker, and it's central to the whole story. She admits she has absolute political ignorance, just completely unaware politically.
Oblivious to the undercurrents.
Utterly. She says she started hanging out with the most intelligent and daring people without having the mas peregrina idea. Not the faintest clue that these were los llamados aterrizados.
The organized ones. The covert term for revolutionary groups.
Exactly. She had no idea who she was actually mixing with.
Wow, so she's just enjoying the social scene, thinking it's all harmless fun.
Completely. She even tells this story. It perfectly shows how out of it she was. A classmate in her economics class asks her if she's farmacia, pescado, or febre.
Pharmacy, fish, or goldsmith. What does that even mean?
Right. She says she was on a luna de Palencia, totally lost on another planet.
Yeah.
Sounds like nonsense code.
Well, it was code, and that's the point. These weren't random words. They were maneras solapadas, veiled ways of identifying affiliations.
Ah, okay. Secret handshakes, but with words.
Pretty much. In that atmosphere of, intense political repression, you couldn't just ask someone, are you with Group X? That was incredibly dangerous.
Right, could get you killed.
Or worse. So these coded phrases were essential. They might have referred to specific factions, maybe supply networks, communication channels, something like that. Pharmacy, fish, goldsmith. They meant something specific within those circles.
And Eugenia just heard gibberish.
Exactly. Her complete confusion shows just how separate she was from that whole political reality that was defining life for so many others around her. Her ignorance wasn't protection. It actually made her vulnerable because she couldn't read the signs.
It's like walking through a minefield without knowing what mines look like. So, okay, initially she's popular, the life of the party. But then she starts noticing a shift. People aren't as friendly. They start looking at her with Rosello.
Suspicion.
Yeah, and some people start to safar bulto, kind of avoiding her, backing away.
The vibe changes. She must have been so confused.
Totally. Until finally someone solta la sopa.
Spilled the beans, let her know what was being said.
Exactly. And here's what happened. A guy named Luis, who was organizado, involved in one of these groups, started, as he saw it, tying up loose ends.
Okay, investigating something.
He'd heard that Dr. Hugo, remember, the second Hugo, the doctor?
Yeah, the one who asked her to deliver the gift.
Right. Luis heard that Dr. Hugo, who was apparently organizado por otro lado, involved with a different faction or group.
Ah, so maybe even a rival group.
Could be. Anyway, Dr. Hugo was telling people that his super cool, unique sunglasses came from a friend in Brazil. A friend who was blonde, short, and named Eugenia.
Okay, the Brazilian Eugenia.
Yes. But at the same time, Louis sees our Eugenia, the narrator.
Who was also blonde, short, and named Eugenia.
Also wearing and giving away the exact same unique sunglasses.
Oh boy, I can see it now.
And here's the fatal misunderstanding. Louise perceived her behavior, her perhaps slightly detached, just back from abroad manner, as a sospechosa attitude.
A suspicious attitude.
Yeah, like she was pretending to be Guatemalan, hiding something, maybe her Brazilian connection, or maybe something more sinister, even though she just returned.
Wow, so all those coincidences, same name, same description, same incredibly distinctive glasses, plus this perceived act.
It just lined up perfectly in the wrong way. The alarm bells didn't just ring, they went off like crazy for Louis.
Absolutely. And in that context, we talked about that paranoid, high-stakes environment. You don't see coincidence. You see conspiracy.
Right. What did they think she was?
All those details together, the name, the look, the glasses, the perceived deception about her identity, it screamed spy, an oreja, an informant.
An ear for the repressive forces.
Exactly. Someone sent to infiltrate the organizados, maybe using engaños amorosos, romantic deception, to get information.
Seduction as a weapon.
It was a known tactic, or at least a feared one.
Yeah.
And the source is clear. The fate of orejas y delatores, informants and traitors, was brutal. Imprisonment, torture, execution.
So this wasn't just gossip. This label was literally life-threatening.
It was incredibly dangerous. It shows how fear can just twist reality, build this damning narrative out of thin air, especially when trust is gone and everyone's looking over their shoulder.
Just terrifying how fast that happened. But thankfully, the story doesn't end there.
No, there's a resolution, luckily.
Yeah. This alarming rumor eventually gets to a man named Carlos. And Carlos knew Eugenia from before she left for Brazil.
Ah, a connection to her past self.
Exactly. He was friends with her ex-husband, the first Hugo.
Okay. The other Hugo connection pays off.
It proves crucial. Carlos, knowing the old Eugenia, probably found the spy story hard to swallow. So he goes looking for Dr. Hugo.
The source of the glasses, essentially.
Right. And through Dr. Hugo, Carlos manages to untangle the whole thing. He uncovers the real, totally innocent story of the gift exchange with the other Eugenia in Brazil.
He finds the source of the misunderstanding.
Yes, and figures out how the story got, as the source puts it, alegremente alimentaron de sospechas y suspicacias. How it was sort of gleefully fueled by suspicion and mistrust.
The rumor mill working overtime.
Totally. So the desaguisado, the whole mess, it gets cleared up.
Phew.
Huge relief for her, surely. Immense. She realizes she was just being a pick-a-floor, a flirt, a social butterfly, enjoying her freedom. She had absolutely no idea her actions had slapped this peligrosa etiqueta, this dangerous label, on her.
All because she used the glasses.
As part of my seductive arsenal, is how she puts it. Using the gift of the glasses as part of her charm.
Wow.
But here's what really strikes me. Even after it's all cleared up, she says, the susto se me reactiva. The fright just comes back, it reactivates whenever she thinks about it.
That tells you everything, doesn't it? The lingering trauma.
It really does. That fear stays with her.
Yeah, it's not just a pew, dodged a bullet kind of story. It's about the psychological scar. That feeling of intense vulnerability, of nearly being swallowed by a situation you didn't even understand.
Being accused like that, falsely.
In a place where accusations could be fatal, that leaves a mark. Her phrase, the fright reactivates, shows it's not just memory, it's almost like a PTSD response. It lives inside her. It really drives home how fragile truth is when fear takes over, and how your own identity can feel like it was hijacked, twisted into something monstrous even after you're cleared. That sense of safety is just shattered.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here from Eugenia's story?
Well, for me, it's a powerful illustration of how context is everything.
Yeah, how an innocent object, those sunglasses, became completely recoded in that environment.
Exactly. In a place saturated with fear and suspicion, style wasn't just style. It became a potential political statement, a dangerous signifier. Perception became reality with potentially lethal consequences.
It really highlights the danger of assumptions, doesn't it? And how quickly things spiral when people are operating under extreme stress and suspicion.
And the human cost of living in that kind of coded, distrustful world. Identities get warped, shattered so easily based on appearances, coincidences. The psychological weight of that is immense.
It definitely makes you think. How many things in our own lives, seemingly simple objects or actions, could be completely misread depending on the situation, on the fears of others?
What a sobering thought.
We hope this deep dive gave you maybe a different way to look at how everyday things can carry these hidden, sometimes really dangerous stories. Thanks so much for joining us for this exploration of dangerous gifts. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.